Hello.
Hello, hi Kichu.
Hi, Namaste, Baishakhi. Happy birthday. And I'm turning in. Yes.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Now I just starting the meeting right now on time.
We will start yes on time.
All
So
right.
most of the participants will be on mute, and I will be conducting the session.
All right. It's her birthday and she's sharing her birthday with Madhuri Dixit. So this is one celebrity that we have over here.
Thank you, Shubi. Thank you very much. Thank you, Gaurav. Thank you very much. Thank you, Joe. Thank you very much, Joe. Thanks for your wishes. Thank you, Bharat. Thank you, Dr. Neha. Thank you, Prajna. Thank you very much. So, guys, we have another birthday, birthday girl. Dr. Neha is with us, and it's her birthday too. So, Dr. Neha, happy birthday to you.
Happy birthday to Neha with a party. And Baisakhi, I also need a party from you and Neha.
Okay, sure. So, I
Hello,
think
everybody.
thanks, John, and Neha. So, I think we are good to start.
Yep.
Yeah, sure.
So I will start. Hello, everybody. Good afternoon.
Yeah.
I hope everybody is doing awesome and staying home. So I'm your host, Neha Basta, a full stack developer and a designer working at Coke Technology Center, Bengaluru. Our agenda for today is turn around from your burnout. And our speaker for the day is Baishakhi Banerjee. First of all, very happy birthday, Baishakhi, from your host and the whole Indiamentor team. So, our speaker, Baishakhi Banerjee, is a software professional for almost 15 plus years. And in the 15 plus years, learning has been a continuous process for her. She is an avid reader, a movie buff, food enthusiast, passionate about Indian history, loves poetry and thrillers. And she is an inspiration to many women like me. I hope you'll have a great session ahead. Over to you, Vashaki.
Uh, Thank you, Neha, and thanks everybody who has wished me. And again, Dr. Neha, thanks for sharing my birthday, and it makes two of us. So thank you, everybody. I need a couple of things from you when I start this session. The three things actually I'm demanding from you. The three things that I need from you is first that uh, we will I will be taking up questions separately. You have my most of you have my WhatsApp number. You have my Telegram ID, that is at the rate Baishakhi. So if you want to connect to me, you can drop your messages, and otherwise you can actually drop your messages at info@indiamentor.com. So any questions you have regarding this session, uh, uh, that is one thing. But during the session, I would love if you just drop your questions in the chat. You can share it with me in the Telegram or in WhatsApp, and then what I will do is I will connect to you at personal level, because I personally feel when you are dealing with something like burnout or something, it cannot be a generic kind of thing to give out, it would be better for me to connect to you personally, and I would be there to help you out. So during the session, I would love if you just drop your whatever questions you have, you just drop them in the chat, message, whatever way you are connected to me, you can just drop it there. That is uh, no, Dr. Sharma, the thing is, we are having a presentation. So are you able to see my slide? Everybody is able to see my screen? Yes, okay,
Mm,
thank you. Yeah. So the second thing that the second thing I would demand from you is your undivided attention. In this next 59 or yeah, yeah. Hello. Yes, can you please mute yourself and drop your messages in the chat window so that we can connect back to you? Otherwise, we will have interrupting voices from the background. The second is I need your undivided attention. And third is I need you to have this thing in your mind that I'm only speaking to you and nobody else. There's nobody in this seminar, this webinar, other than me and you. So I need that kind of connect between me and you, and then we can proceed. So when the this session invite I had floated, what I realized that many people even do not understand the word burnout. So in this session, next 57 minutes, we will actually understand what burnout is and why it is important for us to understand burnout, whether it is affecting us, and correct it, correct the problem before it actually starts affecting us negatively. So that is the process. So I hope everybody has collected themselves. Do you need a 30 seconds to just sit comfortably and be with me for the next 56 minutes? Are all you comfortably seated? Right? So I hope everybody is comfortably seated. They have their fans or AC on. They have in a ventilated room. Right. So here we begin. So I want you to look into this picture. Give it a 30 seconds. Now, you don't need to tell me or you don't need to put it in chat, but what did you feel exactly looking at this picture? Did you breathe out? Did you exhale? Did you think, oh my God, I feel deflated? Did you feel deflated as if somebody has taken the air out of you? Did all at once your mind go blank what has happened? If this image is actually making you feel all those things, if you feel like this sometimes like once every day or maybe couple of times a week, then somewhere we actually are at the right place and at the right time to start looking into yourself and whether you are having this something known as burnout. So the next thing is, so when we talk about burnout, most people, as I said, do not understand what the concept is. So let us understand what is burnout. It's not a very big term. It is almost self-explanatory. Of course, you're not burning physically, you're not having burns, but what does burnout mean basically? So in reality, burnout means it's actually an extreme condition of physical or and mental fatigue. It's like a state of tiredness. It could come, you could just feel tired. You don't ever feel you have that enough energy, enough motivation. You don't feel excited. That is one thing that burnout does. You never feel alive. You're in just come, you seem to be always flatlined. That is what is burnout. Okay, it's an extreme condition of physical and mental fatigue. So now when we talk about fatigue seems, or fatigue or tiredness, people often think, this is okay, it doesn't happen to us, everybody is doing everything. But we have to understand that everybody is an individual and things might affect them differently. So what could be the reasons of this fatigue that you may be facing? Why are you facing this fatigue? Why are you facing feeling so deflated? Why are you feeling that you don't have enough energy? The simple reason is that you might be in a stress for a long period of time. It could be something like you had been having some financial problems. That could be one reason of being in stress. If you're a student, you chose wrong papers, or some assignment is very some paper you chose wrongly, and you don't actually understand, but you need to pass. That could be something that is pulling you out. The third reason that actually could, for even students, it is actually a condition that you maybe are facing bullying. You're facing something like a favoritism from one teacher is favoring a set of students. Accept that that could be a reason that is stressing you out. So if you're facing a stress over a long period of time, it could be one reason that you are facing burnout. Another is, of course, extreme hard work. Sometimes, we have been working hard for so long. People who are doing lots of physical labor, they have been doing it so long that while their brain has become immune to the pain, but the brain actually gets tired. Their body does not react to that level of activity, but the brain does. So that is why, when we are going on doing extreme hard work, one thing that can happen is you can have burnouts. The third thing is a lack of recognition. You are doing something, you keep on doing something, you've put your 100%, maybe sometimes 200%, and then nobody comes up and tells you that it's a good job. And it should not be like everybody else. You have some set expectation from people. So it could be like you have been working hard for your children, and your children does not gives you that recognition. It could be for your husband, it could be for your boss, it could be for anybody. Okay. Yes, Joe, I will actually take up the questions a little bit later, but I will surely take up. Yes, as I said, yes, I will be sharing, things also. It is a lack of motivation support. So you start into something, it could happen in terms of a project, it could be a terms of life decision that you take, that you when you started it, everybody was very excited, they promoted you, and then when the heart for it. It could be you wanted to be a doctor, and you started when you got into the medical entrance exam, everybody supported you. But after that, nobody. You was an IS aspirant. You are not part of that family functions and every time. So people are not giving you enough support right now. So that if you, and even in projects, even in household activities, so if you're not getting enough motivation and support for a long period of time, you may face a burnout. And of course, pent up emotions, as Joe said, sometimes it's our choice. Sometimes people think, if I don't tell anybody, let people will understand. If you love me enough, if you care for me enough, you will understand. That kind of we shut the door, we don't communicate, we put it into ourselves, we box it, and yes, at the end of it, we actually come up with something called burnout. So these are some things, top reasons that are causing the burnout. It could be one, it could be two, it could be a combination of more than these, or it could be all at once. You're having all of these all together. So uh, that is what burnout is. So everybody is with me? I'm audible, hopefully. So you're comfortable? Okay. So now often, this thing comes to people that, whenever there's some fancy term out in the market, people will associate it with a profession. Okay, you have starry whims. Your nakra is like a celebrity, something like that. We associate some kind of traits with professions only. Okay, and we assume that burnout is also for the people who are supposedly working means something that gives you money. So that is the definition of working that we get in the society. So the thing is, the syndrome got identified initially for the professionals. If you search on the internet, you will find that, particularly in Japan, exhausted. You just search with the keyword like exhausted Japanese, and what you will see that people are actually dropping on the footpath and they are sleeping. They are sleeping uh, uh, because they are extremely tired. It is something that is associated with the Japanese culture that people often get overworked and tired. So it is assumed to be linked with professionals. But right at this point where we are sitting in 2020, I think we should be a little bit lenient. We should be a little bit, open to accept that stress cannot be linked to a particular profession. You can get stressed. But in that's why for me, I do not link burnout with profession. According to me, anyone who is emotionally invested in whatever they do, uh, uh, over a long period of time can be affected with a burnout. So if you are emotionally, physically invested into something, you're doing it like with your full guts, with your full energy, and over a long period of time, and you're not getting motivation, you're not getting support, you're not getting recognition, uh, you have pent up emotion, you will, face burnout. That is an evident thing. So now it comes, who can exactly get affected? Yes, professionals will get affected. Artists, people into fine arts or any kind of performing arts, they can also become uh, come with burnout. One very big example is if people are connected to the Indian entertainment. We saw the fallout of Kapil Sharma. He was on the top of his career. He was doing so great, and then he was overworking, and some people said that he started lacking creativity, and then it just went out for some time. So that is what had happened, because that is where the artists can also have burnouts. Then homemakers are somebody who are saliently doing stuff, they're not getting recognition, and then once the children they do for the lifetime, then at the end of the 18 or 20 years, kids grow up, then they face the empty nest syndrome. So all these things. So homemakers are people who are supposed to get burned out more easily, and they should do it. Spouses and partners. Now spouses and partners, we often think, you see that no, we take granted of a relationship, and we are doing keep on doing stuff for each other, and we think, okay, this, you don't need recognition for that, you don't need support for that, you're supposed to do that. And with that comes pent up emotion, and it can lead to a burnout where you are actually irritated seeing that person altogether. Just a minute. So that is so that could be another reasons with spouse, that spouse are also spouse and partner in a relationship also, you can face a burnout, and you need to identify that this is a burnout situation. This has nothing to do with the person in front of you, it is something that has affected you internally. So what causes burnout? Okay, So you might be leading, as an individual sound, we have a doctor, we have two doctors, one is a medical doctor and one is PhD doctor with us. Then we have professionals, then we can have people from different field. So we are different as an individual, but you see, at the end of the day, we have some common things in between us. We have the common things, like, we are sensitive to some things, we love something, we have expectation from people, we have a level of tolerance. It could be different, the degree could be different, but it is there, and that needs to be taken care of. You need special care to treat yourself, emotion, and all that. So what it is important to understand for you, what exactly is causing your burnout, because you are an individual. What causes a burnout for you may not cause a burnout for the other person, because the degree of physical or emotional investment in that same thing is different. So what causes a burnout in you may cause a burnout in another person, but not in a third person. So what are the top reasons that is causing burnout? Uh, it could be something that you are letting others take the lead always. Okay, it's like, there's a project meeting or a project something. You have your plans, you want to, you are very confident this is the best way to go ahead. But when you get into that meeting, you seem to be not assertive enough, and somebody takes that entire, takes control of the meeting. They get the agenda, and you have to work on toes of somebody else. And you have been doing it too long. You have been doing it too long. It could be some input, it could be a household thing that, you want some, some kind of decision made, and at the end of it, somebody else, some other family members make the choice and you don't like it. It could be your, you are the younger sibling, and the elder sibling keeps opposed to the elder sibling. That could be causing your burnout. So you are letting others take the lead always, and that is actually causing you burnout. You are letting others decide always. Now, there is a difference between lead and others deciding for you. When lead is, it could be something that may not affect you altogether. You are not the person who gets affected. But when you let your decision get taken by others, like, your education was not your choice, somebody else suggested it. The travel destination you wanted to go, and you are the person who's spending the money, but it's not your choice, and that is something that is getting, financial investment. You saved a lot of your money into buying a car or a, house you saved for, say, 10 years. And then when you go and try to buy the house of your choice, somebody does not let you. Others decision is, gets the, more valued, and that is what is happening. So this, when you let others keep on deciding for you, oh, then it is actually affecting you. This I can do it all syndrome, I will do it, it is because I am doing it the best way and nobody does better than me. That could be a syndrome that is actually causing your burnout. And this, it has a, I don't want it to be a demeaning kind of thing, but it's also like a mommy syndrome. The mommy thinks that, she is the person who does it right. She won't, you know uh, if you drink the water, you have to close the water bottle, you have to refill the water bottle, then you put it in the fridge. So if that does not, that entire chain of event, if it does not happen, she is not satisfied, and these kind of things is adding up to you, level, and it's stressing you out. And this is not only at home, it could be in office also, that, you want the project to proceed, and if there is one little miss, you just, you're just flying off there, because you don't want that. You want to control everything. That could actually cause a big burnouts. Too many yes and too less no. You have been trying to, satisfy people so much that you have been saying yes, 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 yes too many times. You say it, every request that comes to you, you say yes. You oblige. You're always saying, you're not saying enough no's. There could be, because you have to decide and you have to think, okay, this something may not be the right thing, but no, you're not saying enough. Something you cannot do. So you have to go and voice your opinion and say no. Okay. So that could be another reason that you're having burnout, that you're not saying enough no's. Another is micromanagement is one thing that people have this tendency of doing micromanagement. They will, they are out of their house, they will give a call to the house, you did it this way, did you do this, did you do that? Same thing if you're in office, you're giving, start sending out messages on the chats, you do this, I want an update in 15 minutes, I want an update at 2 o'clock, I want an update at 3 o'clock. All these things, you try to control everything. The problem is when you try to control everything, even a single miss, you you just cannot tolerate that, because you think that you have done so much and how can that thing happen. You hold yourself accountable to a lot of things. So micromanagement could be something that is actually burning you out. So, of course, now once we know the reasons that can burn you out, or what causes a burnout in you, now how do you actually identify a burnout? So, as I said, since we are all different, the feeling of burnout feels different for each of us. So, it could be, it could feel completely different. It could be somebody, people, become quieter with when they start facing burnout. Somebody start getting more irritated. Somebody always, they feel very tired always, they want to lie down, they want to sleep, something like that. So that could be another. So everybody tackles burnout differently, but however, common signs are feeling depressed, being submissive, giving up very easily, being irritated, always feeling tired. These are some of the common signs that you can face. So now, there's one more thing that as a socially we cannot accept. We anybody tells, the most stigmatic word is if anybody says that, this is in your head. People think, you have gone crazy. People have some apprehensions, even thinking that, something is wrong with your head. We try to, we get into a lot of that feeling of stigma. If we are in depression, nobody says that, I'm depressed. Actually, depression can affect them. So there's a lot of stigma. So people often think it's all in your head, and they just go, to a different dimension. Then the thing is, even going to a doctor for these kind of things is like a, no, 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 no. I can't tell anybody that I can. I need to see a doctor because I'm feeling depressed or something. They don't want to get into medication. But the fact is, burnout is not in your head. And if you leave it unattended, it actually affects you physically. So, what? How can it actually affect you physically? You can land up with high blood pressure. People can have severe high blood pressures. They can have, it can actually cause them to black out sometimes. If people are having enough high blood pressure, they can have constant migraines where they cannot actually, days can go that they can't even get out of bed. People can land up having panic attack all at once. They get a news that they completely lose it. They start shouting or crying or howling, something like that. That could be one of the things when the burnout is very extreme, that you start having panic attacks. If you are one of those people who are beauty conscious, uh, so if you are somebody who's beauty conscious, then dark circles, dry skin, dandruff, hair loss, all these are, I think, scary enough. So you need to actually, control your burnout, but because you may face all those things, you may land up with loss of appetite. So you may not feel like eating. You may go like the entire day you're just surviving on one bowl of rice or one fruit, even because you don't really feel like eating. But the worst of it is that you can suffer from something like IBS or an intestinal bowel syndrome. What is this intestinal bowel syndrome? Intestinal bowel syndrome is when you lose the control of your bowel, when you don't have the control of your bowel at all, and your bowel controls you. So you can't step out of the house because at any moment in the day you're talking, you're eating, you're maybe laughing, and all at once you need to go to the toilet and relieve yourself because you don't have control. So that is the worst that can happen if you just leave it unattended. And if you still think that this is not that serious, we can ignore. So I would love if you just go ahead and do a Google search of the three words, the gutless foodie. Please go through this this three words, search it, and read the story of Natasha Didi. This is a lady who actually was going through a lot of stress in her life, and so much had the stress affected her that she has to actually remove her entire gut, and her gut is operated, and she does not have a gut right now. So but she eats a lot, so you actually do it. So that is something that you should actually check. So am I audible? So are we still there? Anybody is feeling sleepy? No, Dr. Neha, this is not a psychiatric issue. This is not at that level. And if you actually get hold of it before it sets in, but yes, if you are starting to have all these kind of things, all these physically, they are actually affecting you, it is better to get into, have a word with a doctor, have a word with a psychologist. I would prefer that you have a word with psychologist. Please remember there's a difference between a psychologist and a psychiatrist. Psychologist is more of a counselor. They are not allowed to prescribe you a medicine. They actually help you work out the problem. Once the problem is worked out, then they actually work with a psychiatrist. And if you need medication, then it is prescribed by a psychiatrist. So the thing is, then if you are having a physical manifestations, you need to actually go to a doctor. But we are trying to, this session is to actually help you identify before you get into this mode. Okay, so and yes, any of these things you are currently facing may not be a cause of burnout. So don't start feeling panicked, but yes, something we need to actually take care of. So the next couple of slides and the next half an hour, we are going to actually tackle that situation, that how to deal with it. Okay, so you are all still with me. I'm connected to everybody, I hope, right? Uh, okay, so now let's look at this picture. Give it 15 seconds. What did you feel with the picture? Did you feel that there's a still hope? There's a little bit of brightness, and there's something that you're connected to? If that is what you're feeling, yes, you can feel the heat. Yes, I would rather use the word warmth than the heat. Yes. So this is a picture of hope, that even amongst the darkness, there's some light. And what actually helps to give you that light? What helps you to pick yourself up? Pick yourself up for yourself. What is that thing that is going to do? So I have three sentences for you. So the entire background is dark, right, Joe? You didn't feel anyone? No, no.
Life.
Yes. So the intent of this image is, between darkness, there's at least hope there. Oh, so you are at the top of your mental health, Joe. No worries. You can step out then. Not a problem. So now the thing is, if you and what takes you back from that deflated state to this state. So I have three sentences for you. Uh, so the three sentences I have for you is: you is smart, you is kind, you is important. And before people start, thinking that Baishakhi is bad with her grammar, no, these quotes are not mine. This is quotation is from a book. This quotation is by Catherine Stockett, a character in the movie called The Help. And I would actually advise you to actually go back and watch this movie. And it's a very, very hopeful movie. It's a very good movie. So just go ahead, watch this movie. It's very inspiring. So, what is you is smart, what is you is kind, and what is you is important? The thing, these three phrases actually says that in itself is there's no correct definition of you. It need not be perfect. What is perfect grammatically may not be perfect for you, and you have to find out your perfect your definition of what is perfect for you. You don't have to look at the grammatically it is correct, whether it is conventionally the right definition for you. You have to work as per the convention. That is not what we are looking for. People who try to box themselves into convention for too long will find themselves that they don't feel important enough. They don't, people make them feel dumb. They're not taking the right decisions. So that is why you have to make yourself feel smart. You have to maintain your kindness, because that is one thing that you should value in yourself. That if you're kind, people often say, you give somebody some money out of kindness and somebody will come and mock you and say, you are foolish, that person just cheated you, but you did it out of a kind heart, right? So that's good, not a problem. Somebody fooled you, that is their problem, not your problem. And of course, you are important. You are very important. If not for anybody, you are important for yourself. So now, once we understand that, we have to actually move from the darkness to the light, we have to find ourselves, we have to find what works for us. What are basically we need to do? What are the steps that we need to take? So, what are the steps from being a burnt out person to a person who is shining bright, who is actually there out there for themselves and for others? So, anybody who has taken a flight, you get this message from the air hostess at the beginning of the flight, that put the mask on yourself first, then you can start helping the others. This is important for everybody everywhere. Nobody is good being dead. So if you are dead inside, you are not going to help anybody. If you are not your best self, you cannot bring the best in others, best out of others, and best in the industry or the social life that you're living. So you need to be your best to give the best to the others. That is simple thing that is out, that you should keep in your mind. So now, what we need to do in a technical or a project management, we do something called SWOT analysis. It is called, where we actually measure the strength, weakness, opportunities, and threats. But in life, we don't do that. We don't understand our strength, we don't understand our weaknesses, and we commit to things that we even don't understand. So we don't give in ourselves room enough to learn. And that is one thing that you are doing wrong. You have to analyze your strength, you have to analyze your weakness, because what you already have your strength. Say you have strength as in money. Money could be somebody, and that's not bad. If money is your strength, it's not something bad. We come from a humble society, people will say something, but money could be a strength. So if you're going for a good event or some social cause, money could be a big strength. but you are not that person who can, walk 1000 miles. You don't have that physical endurance. So commit to, donating the money rather than, walking that 1000 miles. So understanding your strength and weakness is very important. So if you are in a project, if you're, you want to take up something, fine. Professionally, you can always keep on learning, but always taking up challenges that you're not, that are actually weakness, is actually going to give a very flat out average performance. So whenever you are making a choice, whenever you're taking a responsibility, it should be a comfortable mix of your strength and weakness. And you should acknowledge your strength. Assume yourself to be an entrepreneur. If you're an entrepreneur, you are good at having ideas. You can be a good developer, you can be a good, designer, but you cannot be a good salesman, you cannot be the best accountant, and that's why you need help. So even in life, bank on the strength that you currently have, and then create a support system around you, so that where you have weakness, that could be filled. And if you keep on harping yourself, if you keep blaming yourself for your weaknesses, nothing is going to come out of it. So two ways of working on it is working on your weakness. Start, if you want to do something, if you're a bad cook, start learning, that's fine. But at least, have that system in place where, you can have somebody cook for you. So you have to do a very, identify a mix of strength and weakness in every day, every opportunity, every challenge that you face, that you can actually work with. That is one thing that you need to do. Second is, it is okay to delegate. Okay, so it is, we often feel that, if I tell somebody to do something for myself, it could be some housewife trying to think that, if I tell, somebody will feel bad. In a project, if you want to delegate, that okay, you can go to your manager or your lead and say that, I don't think I can do this, or, I need help. I can work out this part of the problem myself, but I need help here. If you are an accountant, you want to, make that you know trial balance match, or you have to make that final account match. So you need help, great, you take help. You It is okay, always okay to delegate. There is nothing ego to accept that, okay, you need help. It's not a problem. It's not a problem. It's okay to assign work to somebody. It is okay to seek help. The third thing that we often, mistake, and that is where we actually I identified as the mommy syndrome. We try to control the action path and outcome. We often try to control all three, all everything that we want for a particular activity, and that actually is a very big thing that stresses you out a lot. You see, the thing is, I have an example. I hope and everybody has seen Ramayana, or it was recently telecasted in some form. You have information of Ramayana. So now just assume, this thing, that uh, Ramji, Sri Ram, he assigned work to Hanumanji, saying that, you delivered this message to Sita Mata that I have arrived. This was the simple activity that was given to him. Okay. Now, what did Hanumanji do in that entire process is, he actually he befriended the sea god. That is one thing he did. Actually, on the way, he befriended the sea god. The second thing he did, he killed one of these, Rakshashi in the water. He did that. Third is, he actually, uh, let the goddess who protected Lanka, he let her go. And he told that Sri Ram has come and Lanka has to be devastated, you go. So he made her leave. Fourth thing is that he befriended Vibhishan. Fifth thing is that he actually delivered the message to Sita Mata. That is five things he did. Okay. But then he got he shamed Ravan. He burnt his uh, tail, and he then burnt the entire Lanka, and then he came back. Now assume the same thing happens in your life, and you asked your kid or your somebody to deliver a courier or something, and he delivered the courier but he messed up everything. So what will be your reaction to it? I think everybody will just blow their head off. Is no, there will be a whole lot of things that will happen, but I don't think Sri Ram did all that. He just, he was happy that the things happened incorrectly. He gave him that responsibility. He took up that ownership. He owned the outcome. He owned the outcome that Ravan was infuriated. Fine, but what it did for the next steps, what it did for Hanumanji in the next two times. The next two times, when one time, Sri Ram and Lakshman both were actually caught up in the Nagpash, he got the help to cut those Nagpash. That is one thing he did himself. He did not seek anybody's help, and it delivered. Second time, when the Sanjeevani Booty was actually called for, he got the entire, Parvat, got the medicine, and again returned back the Parvat. So when you actually don't try to control the action path and outcome, in the process you actually make the person more responsible. You have to just be little bit laid back, take one step back, and let that person perform, let that person identify what the problem is, what were the challenges, because that is also their learning process, that is the life, that is their life. So they have to learn it. If you are trying to control too much, you will in the process get stressed, and that is actually going to be a burnout, something that burns you out eventually, because you're doing it too many times with too many people. And believe me, not every person is going to make it you happy. So this is one thing that we need to correct ourselves, because we cannot go and correct everybody else. This is one important thing that for which we actually kill ourselves. We want everybody to like us. Social media platforms have made us vulnerable to being liking. So uh, if it's the expectation that everything that you will like, you will click a selfie, you want it to be liked, you put a comment, you want it to be liked, you put out a message, you want it to be liked. That need, and that is not only on social media, even currently and in the normal life that we lead, we think that that person I interacted, that person should like me. It may happen that person and you are at different levels, and at different levels, and it cannot happen that everybody will like you. It is not possible. And if you try to make everybody like you, somewhere you will lose your focus in your own life, in your own purpose. So the idea is that you give enough goodness out, and if somebody does not like it, that's fine, that's okay. It's not possible that you do everything right, and because that person is not liking you, it does not make that person bad. They did not like it, that's it. So it stop having this expectation that you do stuff because you want people to like you, because then you have to be saying so many yes and very little no's, or no, no, no at all. You won't be able to fulfill each and every demand of everybody that actually is part of your life. That's not possible. So having that expectation that everybody will like you will not actually help you at all. So it's okay if for some reason somebody is not liking you, let that thing, that person clear the head, let that air go, let that opinion be with them. Don't let that opinion affect you. It's okay. It's okay. That's fine. Somebody doesn't like you, it's okay. Fifth is it's okay to fail. It's okay to fail because uh, until and unless you can you imagine you do everything and you succeed. So once you succeed in something, I don't think for an average person, there could be some very talented folks out there, but for an average person, we don't improve ourselves when we succeed. We think this is the, this is the recipe for success and I will keep on repeating it. So it is okay to fail. When you fail, when we succeed in something, our focus becomes, what we are getting from the outside. But when we fail, we actually look inside, and that's why it's okay to fail. When you fail, you will understand, okay, I did this wrong, this is my weakness, let me work on it. So you can have a plan for yourself. You can think, okay, this is what is did not work for me, so maybe I should do it differently. So because you are failing, you take it too much, onto yourself. You it hurts your ego. You lose your confidence. Then you start following. No, I don't need to try something new. It's not that. It's fine. It's okay. It's fine to not succeed. It it's okay. Okay. This is one thing that I truly believe in. That this is the maybe I am that movie person. I love movie. I love cinema, the art of it. And I always in the cinema, there the climax comes at the end of thing. But then why do we have these songs and those funny comedy and all that in a 3 hour? Why do we have that? Because the movie is not about the climax. It's about the entire build up. Those little sniffles, the song, that item number, the one comedy scene. So life is exactly like that. If you just wait for the climax, you won't even enjoy when you go there, because by that time you are already burnt out. You don't enjoy. You will sleep. The award ceremony is going out. Somebody calls your name, you're just too tired, you forgot your speech and you come down because you're too tired. So life, you should not wait for one final big win. It's never going to happen, and maybe it's not going to happen because it happened but you missed it. You were too tired, you did not feel like enjoying it, you have worked so hard. So appreciate small things, appreciate small, connect that you have. You did something and somebody comes back and tells you, it helped me out. That's a good win. You connected with somebody. That's one thing. Or you lent money to somebody and then you came to realize that that person says, that actually helped me to do my business or something like that. It's a good win. That appreciate the small thing that comes in your life, because we keep on waiting for big awards, big accolades, the best, the perfect job that we would have, the perfect family picture that is supposed to have. And in between, there are so many beautiful things that we lose the journey. So don't lose that journey. Don't keep yourself so focused on the goal that you don't see what are the things that are happening on the side ways. So enjoy the journey, to enjoy the small things that are happening, because those small things are also something that you will actually that will help you grow, that will help you love yourself more. So enjoy those small success. Don't wait for that one big win. That is very, very important. And another and the last important thing that I feel is, you are the most, this is something that you need to actually put in your head. You are the most important person in your life. Okay. And this is not about being selfish. It's just that if you are the most important person in your life, because if you are not the most important person in your life, then it's not your life, it is somebody else's life you're leading. So why this is important? Because once you consider your life to be important for you, okay, you will try to do things that makes you the best version of you. When you are the best version of you, you will actually help others in a better way. No defeated person, no dead person, no sick person has ever changed the life in a big way or of somebody else. You have to be your best self to help others in the best possible way. So it is important that you consider yourself important enough to give yourself time and focus to bring out the best version of you. That is very uh, that is very important thing. Yes. So I am good at taking questions right now. So I please drop your questions in the chat and I will take that up one by one. For some reason, it's not expanding. Okay. So okay, I was seeing some. So am I still audible? Did I bore you all? Okay. Now, uh, I think Joe, Neha or Shubi had given Joe the link for, Ramayana, so he can actually go through it. Ramayana is our ancient Hindu text, and I am reading Ramayana a lot, so it is actually helping me at this time. Okay, isn't delegation again would lead to burnout problem? Okay, so Dr. Neha is saying that isn't delegation again would lead to burnout problem for someone? The thing is, why if you means if you're delegating, that is the fact. When you delegate to somebody, you need to have as a if you are in a leadership position, if you are somebody senior and you're delegating the work to somebody who is junior to you, or you're delegating the work to somebody in your family, you need to put full faith in that person. And yes, when you do it for the first time, when you do it for the second time, and maybe till the 10th time, you have to own their failure. Yes, because you delegated it. But you cannot keep on having that, the idea to control the action path and the outcome, because then you are not delegating. If you're trying to control that entire process, you are not going to delegate at all. You won't. That is not delegation. That is just using your head and brain and the hands of somebody else. That is not delegation. When you try to control the action path and outcome, burnout is if when you are delegating, disconnect yourself through the process of delegation and just wait for the outcome to happen. You have to be patient. And this learning is not for the person who is doing the job. The learning is also for you to hold the patience and not get restless because that person did not call you and give you a heads up. No, that should not be, because then that is ruffling your feathers more than theirs. So you have to be patient. You have to put trust. Even if they are failing your trust, then still for your mental health you have to put a trust and faith in somebody else. Then expecting people to like is a leadership trait. No, leaders don't true leaders will not wait for people to like them. They will actually do things and then a group of people start liking them. They won't do things just for the sake of liking them. That is not the trait of a leader. Then that person is actually if you are so much into making people like you are more of a servant and rather than a leader. No, like expecting people to like you is not a leadership trait. Okay to fail for me, like if somebody doesn't but tried, then can be a good teacher or leader. If you have never failed, can you this is something I actually have a question. If you have not failed yourself anytime, how can you actually bring somebody up? How can you understand somebody who has failed? what they are going through, what are the problems. So you don't have to go through every type of failure, but yes, failure makes you, if you're working at the ground level, if until and unless you yourself have certain type of failure, you won't be able to make the mental connect to somebody who is going through a failure, somebody who has lost something, somebody who has worked hard for a year and they could not go through something. So you have to have that kind. You will not you can, I'm not asking you to be sympathetic, no, it's not required, but in order to have a level of empathy for somebody who's going through a failure, I think yes, a small failure, but yes, you need to fail at least some time to understand, to connect to a person who is going through a failure. Failure leads to success. Yes, failure will lead to success. If you don't give up, yes, it will be okay to fail. Will be the best thing for my students to hear. But what happens to the career selection? Okay, maybe I am at that point of in my life, Anupji, that I don't believe that you should study for only career, because then you can only do one job. If you study for knowledge, career and everything, then you will become a diversified person. So I don't think I am the right person to answer that question about career selection, because I don't believe in studying only for career. That is my my way of leading life. I may be wrong. Yes, Gaurav, the name of the Hollywood movie that I mentioned was The Help. It's a very good movie, and I would love you to go and watch it, because this movie is about, you know, coming from entire depression kind of stage, and doing an 180 degree. So it's like a very happy feeling. It's not like a chick movie, though there are many women characters, but it's not a regular chick movie. It's a very different kind of movie. It actually it puts a very nice smile at the end of the movie. I would love if you go and watch it. It's a good movie. The Help. And yes, aren't sometimes burnout. Yes, if you, as I said, yes, Neha, burnout is sometimes out of choice when you try to micromanage, then trying to control the action path and outcome. You're expecting too many peoples to like you, and I did this for that person, but that person did not, have say thank you to me, and you get all obsessed. Yes, then that's your choice, because you have to have a level of disconnect at a mental level between the work you do and the outcome you get. You need to have that disconnect for your own sanity and not for anybody else. And okay, how can we be member of this elite community? So I think Gaurav would be the right person to connect to, Amardeep ji, and uh, you can join the Telegram group. Shubhi has given you feeling how much it relates to student. The thing is, when do we this is I have a question. I have not left being a student till now. I'm still a student. So if you're student, and in your mind you're always learning, so in that case you never stop being a student, right? When do we stop being learning something? So giving yourself only a fixed set of doing things, I do not, as I said, I do not subscribe to the normal education system where you say only you study for 16 years or 20 years. No, you keep on learning. And for student also, students are most obsessed with people liking them. Students are not, are somebody who are actually, they think this is the worst they are going through, and they have not even stepped up into the real life. They have not, they get stressed even getting before they are actually given any responsibility. As a student, if the students are only, their only job is to study, and they are getting so stressed, they are getting into so much of depression. So it is very important for the student to give their best, to have themselves motivated to give their best, and it's okay to have an outcome different from their expectation. That is where the family and the support comes in, that it's okay, you didn't get it, that's fine. And they should be very clear, and the teachers and everybody don't make the education system about the percentage and all. I know it is very easy to say. I'm still questioned about my class 10 and class 12 marks, and so it's, and I give funny answers to that. Maybe someday I will share that session about what the stupidest answers I have given in my interview questions. I will do that, but I don't believe an education system that is goal oriented. I really don't believe that. I'm not the right person. uh, Being a mother, sometimes I find it difficult to let the kids be under so much pressure around. Yes, it is, that is what I am saying. Somewhere you yourself have to practice that, give your best, but don't get too much invested into the outcome. Because once you start practicing having that disconnect, you practice that disconnect, your children will also aspire to be somebody who works, do their best, but not affected by the outcome. Because if you are too hooked upon the type of outcome and everything, then this is going to go for a toss, and that is not supposed to happen. You need to disconnect. As a parent, you need to disconnect from yourself from the outcome. That is what it is going to bring sanity in your life and in your children's life. If my students fail, then what should it be? I didn't get this question. Maybe you can post it in the, I mean, like, be part of Indiamentor. Oh yeah, I could see interesting practical approach in the application. So should we keep our expectations in mind, not in lips, while delegate someone? No, no. This is very, so. This is nice question. Shubhadeep have actually put out. So should we keep our expectations in our mind? That is pent up emotions. No, you just tell them. This is what I am expecting. This is the degree I can accept to. Okay. So say you are delegating work to your team member, or your, say, let us, your kids. You're not going to be home. You tell your kids to clean up the room, and you say, okay, I am okay with you not doing jhadu and pocha. It's okay if you don't scrub the floor, but I want the utensils to be washed. You give the set of the entire task list, and you say, okay, what is the minimum expectation that you have set from them, and then let it go. Because that is where you have to build it. Somewhere where you have to let it go, somewhere you have to own their failures. Because if you don't provide them the safety net, then you also will fall in the process. Please reach out to me, okay? And thank you. And can you, I understand. Any, how to handle students if they are in this situation? Yes, if you have students that they are, first is pent up emotion. Let them release their pent up emotion. They want to cry in front of you, let them. Don't be judgmental, don't bring things out of context. Don't give them that thing, that condescending look, that you don't know it. They are living it. Let them let it out. Let them relieve themselves of the pain and whatever it is. That is very important, that you help them release their pent up emotions. That is one thing that you need. Second is, be their safety net. If they have failed in a semester, tell them that it's okay, now let us work out what are the weakness, where did you fail, what went wrong, and then keep on being by their side. That is the thing that you have to keep them, reassuring them that this is, if you need to connect to their families behind their back, tell them this is what you're doing wrong, go ahead and do it. Because right now students are in the most vulnerable stages, and they need to be taken care of. So it is important that you let them release their pent up emotions. Don't judge them, don't give them condescending looks. And once they are over this phase, don't bring this topic into discussion from later on, because you are feeling angry with them. That is not supposed to be done. Okay, and can we have yes, if you want, I can give a whole lot of sessions on this, on mental health and how to, do this. And okay, how is there a method, any method to detect problem in professional? I will actually answer that as to you in, Telegram, and I will give you an answer to this. Uh, yes, there are management. I have also done management level programs. I am there. Okay, I think we are good. As I said, I'm there for you. You can connect. But before I actually drop off the session, I have this last message for you, which is light a flame that keeps you warm, not a fire that burns you out to ashes. So you should, as Dr. Neha had mentioned in the beginning, you should have a flame within yourself that keeps you warm, that keeps you going. Keep your expectation to that level that keeps you going. But don't let that expectation from yourself so consuming that it burns you out. Don't do that. And thank you. Thanks for being with me. Thanks for participating in this session. And I hope I can have reached out to a problem that you may not have recognized. I hope it helps you. Thank you, everybody.
The session was fabulous, Baishakhi, and I'm touched beyond words. The warmth of your words will stay with people for another week or maybe month or maybe the whole life. Things that you mentioned will surely help us in personal as well as professional life. Maybe those who are students and those who are parents, they are really able to connect to the words that you have.
Uh, Thank you, Neha. Thank you very much.
God help those who help themselves. So I think it's the first step. You have connected with us through this session, and I just love yourself, live the life like a child. And thanks everyone for connecting with us. We'll be starting a new flavor of talks with the name Go Getting with Gaurav. Stay tuned with us. And I've shared the Telegram link. You can join the Telegram group and you can connect with us at Indiamentor slash contact us. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you very much. And thanks, everybody. Thanks for participating. Take care. Bye bye.